Welcome back to the bench, folks. Well, as promised, I'm going to do some more work on the RC Snowmobile here. The goop to hold the servo in is dried now, so I can work on the steering setup. Now I had a couple ideas on how I'm going to deal with the steering, because I thought originally I was just going to use this rod here to make some links, or tie rods, or you want to call them. But then I thought, you know what, I need to have it adjustable so that I can fix the toe in, toe out a little bit as needed. So I was scratching my head a little bit trying to think of how I should do that, and I thought of an idea. Now whether I can follow through with the idea is another story, because I need some specific parts. First things I will need are once again some of the old-fashioned axial links. I've got a few more of them. I got a fresh package somewhere. So now these on their own are not long enough for what I need to do, but I thought, like this side, I have to be honest, maybe this side will be, it's kind of hard to do, but this side would be close to being long enough. I'm going to have to open up the slots to see. The other side wouldn't now, or would be close to not being long enough. Now it needs, to get the adjustability, I thought, well, most links have a turnbuckle for adjustability. Well, I did a bit of digging. It took me a little while, actually. Figured I had some turnbuckles, but I just couldn't find them. And then it turned out I actually had them in a little bin that I used for my on-road racing days, carpet racing. Here's what I found. They're a titanium turnbuckle. I think these were probably off of my RC12 L4 for the steering, or they may have been off my I had a factory team TC4, but I'm pretty sure they're off of the 12L4. And the thing that I was concerned about, because I found a few other turnbuckles, but they were all standard, a 440 thread, and I need metric thread unless I were to make my own links out of the tube, but I think I'll use this instead. We'll see. Sorry, we'll see what route I take. But nice thing about these turnbuckles is they're metric, so there you go. You can thread them in, and then that'll come out the snowmobile, and then on the other end it'll have the ball link and so on, and the other side will just be a solid connection to the servo. Or I might have to go the other route. We'll see. Maybe it'll look better to have the beefy end coming out and have the adjustment on the inside, because that way this rod will match up the other, so it might give me a little more clearance inside as well. So, we'll see. Either way, I'll have to shorten these up, or maybe I will just use this and fire up my lathe to center drill it and then tap it with a 440 tap. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to take these links apart, get them ready. Another thing I found, and it's just a collection of parts, but I forgot I had these. Shocks. These two are different sizes. This one was off of an HPI car. I think this one as well. But I had bought some new shocks to match everything up. So I got some oddball stuff here. But I'm thinking lengthwise. Come on, if I can get this off. Come on. This spring is stuck on there, kind of stubborn. Let's see if I can get her loose. Pretty sure this was off an HPI as well. but I had ordered some different shocks to make them all match. So there's, there you go. That one's already together, but I'll have to rebuild them. Hopefully the seals are all good. To be honest, I don't see a bottom. Maybe I might be out of luck here. I'm not sure. Because I've got all these bodies here, shock bodies, but I don't have the bottom portion, which is a bummer. So I might be SOL after all. I don't know what these are off of. They're probably off of, yeah, I don't know. They look like Losi shocks to me. I don't know where I got those from, but they're not going to do me any good without the bottom portion, so I'll have to do some digging. Got all 4 of them here. It's too bad I couldn't find the rest of the pieces, because those would work for my shocks. I'll do some more hunting around and see what I can find. Whenever you're tapping aluminum like this, if you're making your own rod ends, and you got the tap and everything, you gotta be careful to not, the tap will want to bind up in there. It's called galling because of the aluminum and that, so you want to get yourself some, now what I've got in this can is some cutting fluid. I got this from Princess Auto, it's cheap. And it's meant for machining, drilling holes, and in this case, helping to cut threads. Now what it does is it helps clean the hole, but more importantly, it lubricates the cutting action, so it makes it a ton easier to tap it out. So if you foresee that you're going to be doing a fair bit of this kind of work, I'd advise you to go ahead and get some. You can get spray balm type, or this was a, I think it was a 4-liter jug that I had picked up for, it was just over 20 bucks, and then you can cut it with, you can mix it with water to make it go further as well. So learn from my previous mistakes. I've broken a tap off before. Once you break a tap off, you're not getting it back out because it's hardened. Well folks, I got the steering all mocked up. Looks like it's going to work okay. I've hit, you can see servo savers in place. The rods are both in, both sides. I don't know if you can see the, yeah, you can see the tie rod ends there. And just cleared in here. Got lucky there. Probably should rub a little bit, but whatever, as long as it doesn't snag. Now one of the things I came across with this plan, now it's not a big deal because this is more of a proof of concept, is I'm not going to have a, it's not going to be a ton of steering. I don't think that's going to be enough steering. And I can see another issue I'm having, but with it snagging on me here, it's binding up a little bit. But I don't have a ton of steering, as you can kind of see. Might be enough, but doubtful. So what I'm probably going to do, which I plan on doing anyways, is when I get a bigger servo saver, the servo saver portion, the horn or whatever you want to call it, it's going to be longer. So that's going to give a little bit more throw, and hopefully that'll be enough. There's really not much else I could do to get any more throw. You could extend these back, and that would give, or if I moved, sorry, if I moved them forward, I don't know, it would give a little bit more throw, but there's just not enough space, so I'll make do with what I got. I'm still happy with it so far. It's going to work out good. Other issue is ton of slop. There's so much slop in there. Just because everything's so loose fitting, and you know what? There's nothing I can do about that. So now the next thing I think I want to do, whether I'll do it tonight, I'm not too sure. If there's, if this video continues, that means I've done it tonight, but I got to look at the shocks now. Now I dumped these parts out before. There's going to be a couple extras in there. I've got these short short shocks, or Losi shocks. Still don't know where the heck I got these from. They're from a Losi touring car. Maybe my friend Jason gave them to me. Very well could have. But I did some digging and I found these Losi shocks. They're from a Losi, I think a double XT truck that I bought as a parts truck in order to try to fix my old Losi double X, and now fix it because some fool, that being me, tore into it and used the transmission for my first rock crawler, which was a TLT based rock crawler. That was back before Axial had rock crawlers and that, so I needed a center mount transmission with drive shafts coming out of each end, just like an Axial transmission has. So I went and I used the transmission out of the double X, and when I used it I locked the ball diff with some glue and that, and just kind of generally buggered it up. So I'm hoping I can use the double XT transmission and parts to revive that old buggy, because it's a cool buggy and I want to have another two-wheel drive buggy. So you'll see that in some future videos. So in any case, let's see if I can rebuild one of these shocks. Well folks, see a bit of a mess here of parts. I had some parts incompatibility issues. Turns out the one set of shocks had a slightly different size shaft than the other, so they wouldn't have sealed up. So I had to use the, where is it? The original long shaft out of that long body. But of course, being that it would be a long shaft, it's going to be way too long. So what I ended up doing was cutting the shaft down and threading the end. Now, cutting the shaft was easy enough, but threading sure wasn't, because, as you're probably aware, the shock shafts are hardened. So what I ended up doing, grab a file here, is heating the shaft so that I could run the die over it to cut threads, because what heating does is it takes the hardening out. Now I should be able to harden it again, and I think the way you do it is you heat it red hot and you quench it in oil, but I'll have to look on the internet and see. So let's just see here. Those threads are cut back. Now I used a 632 tap on here. I'm thinking the originals, they're not, they're a fine thread, and I don't even think they're metric. That's a 4 mil. It's definitely not a 4 mil. And it's not a 3 mil. And it's also not a 440, so it's going to be an oddball size. Well, I shouldn't call it oddball, but a less common size, which is 540. And my tap set did not have a 540 tap, so I used the next size up, was a 632, and when I tapped it, I heated it. Sorry, I shouldn't say tap it, cut threads on it. I heated it up, and then as it cooled, I ran the tap, or the die over it to help cut the threads, and that worked out okay. Now, this shaft is a little bit tweaked, so I'll have to make sure and try to straighten it. If we throw this in here, so push it down. Oh, what am I doing? Dumbass. It's the wrong shaft. Throw this in here. Be careful not cut the O-rings inside. Drop it on. And there you have it. Should work okay. Then I'll use some ball ends. I don't know if the Traxxas ones will fit because I used a bigger thread, but I'm sure they will if I open it up. Oh yeah, no problem. Just thread that on. Be able to use the existing cups I have, and then the only other thing I'm worried about now, I said I was going to use some associated springs, but will they fit? Let me show you the set that I've got to work with here. Will they fit? And if they do fit, will they actually be long enough? Here's the spring kit. Don't know which springs I'll use. Maybe some purples, because I've got several sets of those. But will they fit over the shock body? Oh yeah, they do. But I'll have to have the preload spacer down quite a ways in order to make it work. Either that, or if I can go through and find some springs. Here's oddball different springs. These are TC car height. That's a spring that came off the shocks originally. So maybe if I look through my pile of crap here, I can find something. Now I've got these springs which I could cut coils down, but the problem with cutting the coils down is then you don't get that nice finished edge. So maybe, and I'm pretty sure I've seen in my oddball parts bin, let's see here, let's see what I got. Just bear with me, folks. Maybe I don't. Bummer. I do have these other shocks which came off my Max MT truck. Let me just show you those while I have them here. Sure, I had another random parts bin, but see, I had these shocks as well. Two of them, which are a little bit longer. And I thought, well, maybe I'll use those, but fortunately they're way too long. They're nice looking shocks. I think one of the shafts was bent on one of the longer ones, but so those will stick around for a different project. Who knows? Or maybe I can, once I rebuild the rear suspension, I can use one under there. But as it is, it looks like I'm going to be stuck with using those touring car springs, or cutting down a spring. We'll see how it goes. We'll have to think about it for a little bit. So, but I think for the evening, I'm going to shut it down and go upload this video, edit it, that sort of thing. That takes a little bit of time. And who knows what I'll do for the next video. Maybe it'll be another snowmobile video, or the TA01, or maybe I'll start another project. Like, I need another project, but maybe I'll start working on the Double X and show you all the different odds and ends I've got, and see if I can start piecing that bad boy together. In any case, take care and talk to you later.